Alright, that's Pete, that's Vince, I'm Adam, and this is the Toon in 10. Okay, so the idea is we get 2 halves of 5 minutes each, 2 topics. Once the 5-minute timer goes in the first half, that's it. Okay, so that's a lot. Okay, so we'll start off the first half with this topic. Who is Newcastle's best young player? Go.
If we're talking about best young player for somebody who shows both potential and the ability to have actually done it, it's not just, I can see he's going to do this, he's going to be this one day.
Yeah.
I'd have to say Perez. I think last season
Good
Perez
shout.
came over, nobody had a clue who he was. There were people who pretended they knew who he was.
Yeah,
I mean, there were people like, oh yeah, I knew who he was.
The YouTube scouts, yeah.
Nobody knew who he was, and he came
I'm
over.
a big fan of the Spanish second division.
What is it? Segunda La Liga or something. Segundo. Just came over and amazing. From the first game he played, a revelation. Some of his goals, probably got the points which kept us up, to be perfectly honest. If you think about his match-winning goals. One against West Brom away and so on.
Liverpool at home as well.
There we go. And I just think for the quality and everything he brings to the team and how good he is now and the potential on top, no question. He's our best young player.
I've noticed, he's absolutely fearless as a player. Like he doesn't care who he's playing against, and the fact that for large portions of last season he carried our team when he had no right to even be starting. I mean, it's maybe a result of how poor our side actually was, but ultimately he came in and he outperformed any expectation anybody had of him.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and he was incredible.
Yeah, he didn't have any expectation in reality. It was 1.6 or something million out. But for me, I did think there was points. It's not taken away from him, but there was points where he faded a bit, I thought, and I am a bit concerned that.
It was burnout.
Possibly. Yeah, I think
too much pressure on him.
He wouldn't have been
too fast.
Well, all of a sudden there was. I think there probably was a bit of pressure because he was thinking, "Crap, I'm actually responsible for the goals now. I came here as being a substitute, and now actually, this is quite a big club." And I mean, he did score a couple towards the end, but. There was quite early on, I mean around Christmas time, I think City were linked with him and stuff like that, so I think there are a couple of big clubs.
I don't think those rumours will go away
I think if he
for the rest of his Newcastle career.
This is my issue with being a Newcastle fan at the moment. I think if he does keep performing and the right bid comes in for him, that'll be him off. But I mean, you can't help that.
No, and that's just where we are as a club,
yeah.
and we've got to nurture him as best we can now, and maybe McLaren can get even more out of him. Although there was a strange one against Gateshead where you see the playing in the centre midfield, so I'm not sure what his plans are there. We'll see where that leads.
What do you think the song the fans have made up about him? They basically rehashed the Andy Cole song. Perez, Perez. He gets a goal, he scores, gets the ball, scores a goal. Perez. That's what they sing about him. It doesn't make sense at all.
It's not very creative. We'll possibly move on from that. I was going to say...
that's what they're saying, it's not mine.
No, I know that. I know that. Yeah, it's fine. It's all right. We're all friends here.
Out there.
We're all friends. No, it's fine. It's fine. I was going to say...
Gets a goal and scores a ball.
That'll never catch on. Doesn't even make sense. I was going to say Rolando Aarons. I know he's very injury prone last season, but when he did play those, honestly, flashes of brilliance, he would score, he would assist. I mean, there's very few players that can actually come on off the bench or have very little game time and have such an important impact on a game or on a team.
I just don't know what happened to him last season. I agree. It's a funny question because, to be honest, take away Perez and Aarons, I'm not sure who I would answer with.
What happened to Big Arama?
He had some sort of stomach virus or something when he went on loan to Rangers. So
he didn't even play once.
Yeah.
Didn't we send him there?
A few seasons
a boy away.
Yeah, a few seasons ago,
an evacuee.
Yeah, a few seasons ago, he looked canny when he was playing like cup games and things, and he thought, oh, okay, he might progress. But then his development seems to have been stunted. Yeah. Now, let's look at maybe someone like Paul Dunnett, who gets a lot of criticism, and I think almost rightly so at left back. But as a centre back,
he looked good.
He's impressed me.
Yeah, he looked all right.
And he's got unbelievable technique with the football. but he's strong as well, and I can see him if they do play him in that centre back, maybe they do, maybe
I don't
we've
trust
got
the way he stands. He has a bit of an arch.
like a Quasimodo, like crooked,
he just looks
crooked man, crooked shoe.
In later life, that's going to cause him any.
We haven't mentioned Adam Armstrong yet.
For good reason.
We're putting up trees to England all the way.
Yeah, but look, there's a few players like that. Like I remember, I genuinely thought Harris Vukic. I was really excited about him.
Stop. That's half time. All right. Let's crack on with the second half. Let's look at some transfers and let's talk about, should Newcastle be buying more English players? Go.
Yeah,
What's the start?
For me, well, not just English, people who have a proven track record in the Premiership. I'm not bothered about nationality by any stretch. For me, it's if you've proved yourself in the Premiership, that's the most important.
I mean, ultimately, we have to be concerned with, obviously, registered squads have to have a certain amount of homegrown players. You see, this is why Man City spending so much for Raheem Sterling, because they're lacking in that. And I think at the moment, actually, we're doing all right for sort of,
by default, because I'm saying anyone, so it's
yeah.
cheaper.
You do get a lot of you get a lot of almost xenophobic comments on Twitter and things about, oh well, let's not sign any more French players and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're right, and I totally agree with the sentiment, and obviously that it absolutely doesn't matter about your nationality. It's if you got the passion, if you've got a good work ethic, and if you've got the talent to play for us. Come on board,
What I would say is, not necessarily do we buy more English players, we need to be developing them. Have a look over the past 10 years. Andy Carroll aside, we haven't developed any players ourselves. We bought young players in from elsewhere, Perez, Aarons and so on, and developed them from other teams.
Yeah.
We haven't developed them. Some of them have stolen the match on us. Look at the players that they've bought through. Look at the players Middlesbrough have bought through. Both have bought through England international players over the past decade. Andy Carroll aside, and I don't think Andy Carroll will ever be the player he was for that one season with us. I think he's shot. I don't think he'll ever be that player again. Newcastle has got a history. The North East is one of the hotbeds of English football and development and players. The fact that we let Sunderland get a Category A youth academy, which means they can attract players from and we haven't competed with that. It just seems very short-sighted.
You look at Olivier Bernard, sort of what he's doing in Durham and trying to set up a youth academy there to feed the likes of Newcastle, Sunderland, and Middlesbrough. You look at Dummett, who's come through the system, and I think he's got potential. You look at, we touched on it before with Adam Armstrong. Has he got the quality? You've got young Freddie Woodman as well. I mean, they're players that we are bringing up through.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it's a fair point. Problem is, where Newcastle are at the moment, and I risk saying what we've done wrong for a few years, but we can't afford at the moment to be long-sighted. We actually need players now, and we can't. I actually think we can't even take risk in getting players from abroad who have proven ability abroad. We actually need people now
who have Premier League
themselves in the Premiership, because we just don't have a squad. We need to improve our squad with players who have got.
But this is the difficult thing, because we're not a Stoke, for example, or who will or West Brom, who will get players around 29, 30 who've sort of maybe their pedigree's fallen off a bit, and they'll bring them in for absolutely. They'll bring in those kind of players for the experience, and they might have done things in European competitions and at an international level as well. But that's not what we're about.
We don't like all the players.
No, and we haven't for a while, and I don't think that's going to change in McLaren, because he obviously likes a possession-based, very dynamic football approach. High energy, exactly. So we need those sorts of talents. How many years of experience would you? Well, if we're going to bring in English players,
it doesn't have to be. So, for instance, for me, someone like, say, Sunderland buying Kabul at $3 million. For what we've got in defence, I would take him at 29, 100%. I would.
But why do we look down the leagues? Particularly teams like Everton, they've looked and bought players from down the league. They bought Lescott from down the first division, bought from Wolves. Jagielka from Sheffield United. They got Cahill from Millwall.
Yeah.
Why aren't we looking down the leagues and buying?
Well, in
players?
fairness, like say last season, we were in for Dele Alli from Wimbledon.
Well, what with Tyrone?
Sorry, from MK Dons, and he ended up going to Tottenham, didn't he? And it's like we've missed out on that kind of player. But then maybe
Yeah, well, I'm
somebody
not disagreeing with you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we've looked at that Ivan Toney as well.
Yeah.
From
But even then,
Northampton.
that for me, he's another potential like Perez. He's not first team ready.
No,
I think
no.
with that's
He's
where our
he's a
focus
cup
is.
player, and
We
would you buy him and
don't-
loan him back?
Yeah, but we just don't have that luxury at the moment. We really don't. And if that's the strategy about not buying players of 29, that's
But I
crazy.
think it's right that Sammy Amiobi should go out on loan, because to be honest,
Shouldn't be anywhere near our
I'm
first.
surprised he
Absolutely.
even got offered another contract. Stop. Right. Well, that's the end of the second half. That's full time, lads. That's been Pete. That's been Vince. I've been Adam. Thanks again for tuning in to the Toon in 10. Check out thetoonnetwork.com for all the latest opinions and blog pieces. Share with your friends, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.